You're live.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Nick Unsworth here, and I have the honor and privilege of being here today with you, and I get to share some of my content and some of what I call 7 life hacks to double your productivity. So I'm super excited. Brett is actually crushing his live events out here in San Diego and doing a phenomenal job. And just so fired up for him and for everyone that's there. As you know, Brett is just a powerhouse with marketing, with copy, with Facebook marketing and advertising. So for all your friends that are in San Diego, we just wish them well. And for you here right now, I am excited that I'm going to dive in and I'm going to share with you a new presentation. So if you've ever seen any of my stuff, this is a really exciting new presentation that I put together because what I found is that no matter what we want to accomplish, if you're here right now, it's because you're an entrepreneur. You've got a big vision and you've got dreams and you want to get more out of your life and out of your business. But what I found to be the biggest hang up is actually getting ourselves to do the things that we need to do. It's beautiful becoming an entrepreneur and having more freedom, but on the same token, it's actually really challenging because we're left to our own devices. So this is going to help you break through that. There is absolutely nothing for sale here, just all goodness, and I'm going to do my best to give you everything I got. So what I do want to do real quick is I'm just going to type in the chat real fast. All right, so I think you might have seen that chat before too. But so let me know what city and state or what country you're calling in from. So just want to say hello. We've got Brenda in Atlanta. We've got Shirley in Rochester, New York. I'm from Connecticut. We've got Lawrence saying congrats, Nick and Megan, on the baby. So we are 12 weeks pregnant. We are living our lives on fire. Our Megan just got back from the doctor and heard the baby's heartbeat for the first time, which is awesome. We've got Nella in Torino, Italy. I was in Italy 3 weeks ago. Let's see. We've got Timothy out in Florida. We've got Adam in Vancouver. So welcome. I love it. And we've got a whole bunch more, Jan. So that's awesome. So again, thank you for being here. I'm going to dive in. I'm going to just share some slides over here. And give me a yes if you can see my slides okay. Just going to move this guy over here. All right, so I'm going to pull up some slides. Oh, hold on. I'm a little bit newer to Webinar Jam. Okay, cool. Let me stop sharing real quick. Apparently, you can't move it all around like that. All right, so let me just move this over here. All right, so as I'm doing this, I would love for you to let me know what is the #1 challenge you have in your business. Just type in the chat box your #1 challenge in the business or in life, just whatever it may be. Just type anything in the chat box so that I can see exactly what's going on. And let me get my slides up for you guys. All right, so the #1 challenge in your life and business. I know there's a little bit of a delay, so we'll get that rolling. Okay, perfect. So now you should be seeing my slides, and just give me a yes once you can see my slides. And I'm just going to get rolling. So, all right, awesome. So thank you for saying what's up in the engagement and letting me know that we're good to go. All right. Perfect. We are good. Okay, cool. So 7 life hacks to double your productivity. So here's what we've got for you. So I'm going to drill down into these 7 specific techniques. Now, these are 7 secrets that I've personally used, and I've also learned from high-performing CEOs and entrepreneurs and athletes, celebrities who have mastered time and lived the dream. So what I want you to do is also take note of the agenda. So this is how I've leveraged these skills to go from 50K in debt to selling a business in 2 years and then starting my company Life on Fire. How to master your time. I'm going to teach you the life hack on how to turn fear into a powerful motivator for you. The biggest mistakes people make and how to avoid them. Email and calendar hacks. And the word hack, it's just a shortcut, it's to help you get there faster. So then how to get more done in 4 days than you would in 4 weeks. First things first, I always encourage just to be here. If you're hearing me right now, it means that you're here, you're online, you're plugged in, and just I encourage you to, we're talking about doubling your productivity. So just turn out, take your phone, turn it upside down, and just tune out other distractions and just be here because I'm going to give you some really good stuff. Also, Brett has, asked me to share just something that's completely free with you. So I have my 3-day motivation challenge. If I have earned your trust and respect in like the next, half an hour, then you can just jot down 3daymotivationchallenge.com. And if you like this is just something that I have special for you. It's completely free. There's no strings attached. And it's just actually 3 videos that are really awesome just to help you get more done and be more motivated. So I want to ask you this question. What is your most valuable resource? So of everything in life, just type in the chat and let me know what is the most valuable resource that you have in life. All right, so you can type that in the chat box and I'll get to those in just a second. So the most valuable resource from my main man, Steve Jobs, who is just, as you know, is just in his lifetime is just an incredible entrepreneur. And Steve Jobs says, my favorite things in life don't cost any money. It's really clear that the most precious resource we all have is time. And isn't that so true? We cannot buy more time, whether it's a near-death experience, or I know for me personally, I had a car accident where, when you literally live through a miracle and you should have died and you come to after being unconscious and the wreck is just disastrous and everyone's being rushed to the hospital, neck and back injuries, the whole 9 yards. And when you come awake from that, you quickly realize how precious life is, how precious every single minute is. And so that's one thing we're going to help you get more of it, which is time. So the challenge we face is that there's not enough time. So if type in yes in the chat box, if you've ever felt like this, where you just don't have enough time, there's just not enough time to get everything done and life is just too busy. It's like, that's a challenge that we constantly face. If we don't take action today, if we don't do something about this now, when is that vicious cycle ever going to change? Right? You didn't become an entrepreneur, or you're not on this call right now desiring to be an entrepreneur because you want to end up with this just vicious cycle of not having enough time. It's like, we all become entrepreneurs because we want a lifestyle, but very few people actually have the lifestyle. That's what we call a life on fire, where you have it all. You have not only financial blessing and abundance, but also just you have time to enjoy things in life. So another challenge we face. Excuse me. So another challenge we face. When you look at this, does it make you want to yawn at all? Does your body just react that way? I know for me, I know I do, right? Just by looking at it, it's like, how can you fight back yawning, right? So there's 2 points I have to this, is that number one is that the other challenge that we face is actually getting ourselves motivated to do the things that we need to do. Right. So it's interesting. Most of us, we actually know what we need to do if we just get really clear and honest with ourselves. But the challenge is getting ourselves to actually do the thing. And so what this is depicting is, of course, yawning. But yawning, I'm really saying it, it's a lack of motivation for some people. That's what I'm really depicting. And then the other thing is, think about our brains. Right. How interesting is it that you can be in Italy right now? Right. We have, I believe it was Nella in Italy. We've got people from all over the world here. And that from you just looking at a screen, your brain can trigger a response that makes you want to yawn from an image. Like, I just think that that's powerful. It's just interesting. And so if an image can make your body yawn, what else can we do with our minds, right? And that's what I'm going to prove here in this training, is that we actually have, we're capable of a lot more, that our minds are capable of a lot more than what we realize. There's a Navy SEAL that I've done some training with. His name is Commander Mark Divine. He believes that we are actually 20 times more powerful than we realize. And then he proves it to you at his intensive 2-day events, where he puts you through the most rigorous workout you've ever experienced in your life. And he physically proves to you that you're capable of 20 times more than you ever thought. So, I just find it interesting that we're capable of so much more than we realize. Now, I don't want you to picture a pink elephant. So right now, just don't picture a pink elephant, and just try your hardest not to picture one, and just tell me what happens. So what happens, right? If you now, so just think of a visual, right? A lot makes our mind, you may have actually yawned when you saw that last visual. Now, the written word, or even just looking at these words, what happens in your mind is that you'll picture a pink elephant. It's like if you say, don't picture a pink elephant, in that flash of a second, that pops up in your head. Right? Our minds are so powerful. Our minds are so full of imagination and creativity, and there's so much more that we're capable of doing. And I'm going to prove that to you in this this presentation. So now let me ask you this: have you ever tried to lose weight? And if you look at the screen, you start off in one shape and you lose weight, and then you end up gaining it back. I know for me, I've done this throughout my life. I, was, overweight in middle school, and then I lost in high school. Then I was overweight in college, and then I lost it. And I've done this yo-yo where I start at 213 pounds, and I got down to 175. Then I'm back up to 200, and then I'm down to 180. And what's interesting is if you think about that cycle of losing weight, isn't it fascinating that you and I both know what is required to lose weight? True or false? So type in the chat box, true or false, that you and I, we actually know exactly how to lose weight. We need to what? We need to eat less, and we need to move more. We complicate this with books and different diets and fads and pills and all this mayhem. But the reality is, if you literally look at it as simple as you move more and you eat less, you will absolutely lose weight. So for sure, it's true. We actually know how to lose weight. We actually know how to do it. But here's the thing. Why don't we? Why do we have a country that is there's so many people that are obese and morbidly obese? Why is it so challenging? Now, here's the thing. The reason why it's so challenging is because even though we know exactly what we need to do, where the problem lies is that we don't know how to get ourselves to actually do it, right? So we know how to lose weight, but we don't know how to get ourselves to actually take the actions required to do it. And even if we do, right? Even if you've ever can relate to this, even if you start the diet and you actually do it, what happens? Oftentimes, we do it for 2 weeks and we revert right back. So why is it so hard? Why is it so hard for us to create new habits and to just do the stuff we need to do? Now, here's the thing. You're on this line right now. It's because you're a friend of Brett's. A friend of Brett's, is a friend of mine. Brett and I have similar backgrounds. We've done some really cool things in our lives and in business, especially with Facebook marketing and advertising. But here's the thing. If you're here, it tells me that you're probably an entrepreneur or you want to be an entrepreneur. So have you ever tried to make more money? Right? Now, if you want to make more money and you're an entrepreneur, let me ask you this. Do you know how to make more money? And the answer is probably yes. And here's why. It's like, I just came back from this presentation where I spoke to like 40 or so realtors. And I was just talking. I said, raise your hand if you actually know how to make more money as a realtor. Every single hand went up. And then the next question was, well, how many of you actually do the things you need to do to make more money? There was like 2 hands, right? 2 hands. What percentage of 40 people is that, right? It's like that's maybe 3 hands, maybe 10% or 8% of the room. And so what happens is that we actually know how to make more money, but we don't know how to get ourselves to take the actions to do it. And this is, I'm going to push you on this. I'm going to challenge you on this, that if you're here on this call, it's probably because you're here to learn, right? Now, there's this point where, yes, we all need to get mentorship. Yes, we all need to learn. But even if you're running Facebook ads, you absolutely need to learn for sure. That's why we have Brett. The dude is the best. He's who I look to now for Facebook ads. We've stepped into more personal development and we're doing a lot with Brett. So yes, you definitely want and need to learn. But the thing is about putting it into action, because if you can't get yourself to do the actions, then what good is the technique, right? It's like you've ever bought a book and never read it. If you've ever bought a course and never done anything, it's a problem that's rampant across the world. And it's a problem that is native and relative to human beings. We get something that we desire, but then we don't follow through. And that's what I'm here to help you do. So the interesting thing is we actually know what we need to do. As an entrepreneur, we know we need to make more sales and we need to spend less money. Fact. That creates more profit. And if someone's like, well, how do I make more sales? It's like, dude, go out and talk to more human beings. It's like, no matter what you're selling, you got to have more conversations. It's not the tactic. It's you just got to take more actions. It's you got to get more ad campaigns out. You got to have more physical conversations belly to belly with people. So when someone gets really honest, they say, okay, you know what? You're right, Nick. It is that I just need to, have more sales conversations, do more profit producing activities. So the thing is, and what you're seeing here on the screen is we actually know what we need to do. We just need to learn how to motivate ourselves to do it. If that makes sense and you agree, just type in I agree and let me know that you're picking up what I'm putting down. All right, so cool. Just give me an I agree, or hey, if you disagree, I certainly don't want to steer it too bad, right? So let me know. Cool. All right. So the next thing, these celebrities. So, we've got Richard Branson, we've got, Kim Kardashian, Tony Robbins, Brad Pitt, Will Smith, Oprah. So celebrities and whether they're actors, actresses, CEOs, powerful entrepreneurs, philanthropists, like you name it, what they have in common is they have this innate ability to actually do the things required to get the results that they want. So what they've mastered is it's not that they're smarter than you. I assure you, they are not necessarily better than you or smarter than you. Now, some of them are absolutely freaking brilliant. Yes. But what they have done, and then when you study and you tear through autobiographies and biographies on people, successful people, and you study and you interview them, you get to know them, what you'll quickly find is that they all have an unbelievable ability in their mind to do the things that they know that they need to do. They know how to motivate themselves. And that's really what we're going to be tackling here in these 7 steps. So they have mastered their minds. And they take massive action. And that's actually what's so interesting. I always say imperfect action is more important than anything, or done beats perfect, right? It's like for Brett, I mean, shoot, if someone doesn't get a campaign out or create a custom audience, Brett can't help them, right? He can't help you. You've got to take the action. And the thing is, just getting it out is actually is where the learning takes place. We think all the learnings on, the webinar. The webinars inspire us, but then we got to do it to have the real learning take place. So here's the thing that you can do anything you put your mind to. I'm going to prove it to you in a quick story. And so just know that this story is not about Nick Unsworth. This story is actually about you, and it's about inspiring you to know that you can do anything you put your mind to. And I know it sounds a little cheesy. Here I'm saying you can do it, but I want you to just go along with me, right? You're here, you're present. So might as well just listen with open ears and an open mind and open heart. So here's my journey. And I'm going to prove to you that literally with changing your mindset, you can do anything you put your mind to. So for me, when I was a child, I had big dreams and aspirations of having what I call a life on fire, time freedom, having financial abundance, and what happened was my mom, I was super lucky, stay-at-home mom. She used to tell me that I can do anything I put my mind to. I was given that. Not everyone was given that. That for me is my biggest gift in my life, is that I have a belief that I can do stuff. And now I help other people believe that they can do it too. So my dad, on the other hand, spent his life working his butt off, and he did not have time freedom. But he inspired me because of work ethic. But the thing was that he wasn't able to be around because he was always working. So for me, after witnessing that, it was my desire to build a lifestyle where I could have both, to have kids one day and be able to have it all, and have time and have money and make a difference. So here's the thing. I became an entrepreneur. I'm going to shortcut the whole long journey, but in the year 2000, I was 18 years old, right? 10 years later, by the age of 28 years old, I had been an entrepreneur for 10 years up to this point, and I had failed at 11 businesses. So in 2010, Nick Unsworth, 28 years old, $25,000 in debt, been an entrepreneur for 10 years. Every minute of being an adult at 18 years old, boom, I've been an entrepreneur. And you know what? Up for 10 years. I failed for 10 years. You know what? For some of you, if you've failed for 6 months, congratulations, right? If you've only failed for a year and then you became successful, that's incredible. You're 10 times better than my journey, than what I did. I failed for 10 years. So no matter where you're at, and even if you feel like you're failing in the current moment, just know that, have you been failing for 10 years, right? And if not, it's like you can get it together and you can make a shift, as you're going to see, at any time. If you've been failing for more than 10 years, well, this will inspire you either way to get into action. But up to that point, I had failed from the year 2000, when I was graduated high school, 18 years old, to 2010. I failed at 11 businesses, right? Everything from network marketing to real estate, you name it. I had a home improvement business. I mean, I did anything that I could get my hands on. Realtor, as a mortgage guy, you name it. And by 28 years old, fast track, I failed at 11 businesses. I was 25 grand in debt. I lived in a dump, not a literal landfill, but like a place that was just not nice. Didn't have kitchen cabinets, no dishwasher, no garbage disposal, right? My grandmother's couch. Now, I know it's not, third world country, but that's not where I intended to be, right? At 28 years old. That's not what my entrepreneurial, dream was. And, think about, for you, what is your entrepreneurial dream? And then where are you today? Is it where you want to be, or are you off on that mark? So for me, I had this moment. I was way off on that mark. I felt like an epic failure. And so what happened is, my mom gave me the book, The Secret. I opened up that book. In the cover, she wrote, "I believe in you." And what happened was, I was on the verge of giving up. I was absolutely on the verge of throwing in my towel on being an entrepreneur. I was on the verge of giving up. And even with my life, I mean, it was like I was at my wit's end. And I read this book, and she writes, "I believe in you." Now, that book, some people love it. Some people say, "Oh, it's not enough. It's just the law of attraction." Any way you slice it, what that book did for me was, it allowed me to realize that I am in control of my thoughts. You are in control of your thoughts. There's no burglar can come in and crowbar your brain and force you to think negative thoughts, right? That's all you, right? That's all me. Now, what happened is that I didn't realize that those thoughts were controlling me. Those thoughts were literally like allowing things to show up in my life that I didn't want, right? I was just wallowing as a victim in my own just sorrow with those thoughts. But once I realized and read the book, and I was like, holy crap, if I just switch how I'm thinking, then everything will change. And so it sounds very simple, but what I did was, I said, why not believe in it, right? What's the worst that can happen? I can't get any worse. I'm at my rock bottom. So I tattooed a goal on my chest and said, you know what? Here I am, 25 grand in debt. I'm 28 years old. I'm dead broke. I'm going to tattoo this. So what you're looking at is an actual tattoo that's on my chest. It's written backwards. So when I see it in the mirror, it's actually backwards, right? So for me, I can read it, believe 2012. Notice the S, in the tattoo is from The Secret. And that goal was a 2-year goal, right? And that goal, believe 2012, was actually when I decided and committed that I was going to sell a business. Now, think about that. Imagine being 25 grand in debt, failed 11 different times on 11 different businesses, and everyone around you is telling you, why don't you give up? You should be more like your brother. Clearly, you're not good at this, right? I freaking sucked. I was bad. I was really bad. And you know what? I read this book and say, screw it. I'm going to sell a business in 2 years. That's my dream. I'm tattooing my chest. I'm making a vision board right now. I'm going to write a letter to myself, and I'm going to write that letter as if I've already achieved it. That is the key thing. That's what Navy SEALs do. Navy SEALs, they picture and they expect the end result, and they play that over in their head over and over and over and over again. Navy SEALs, before they ever breach that door, they have run that scenario in their mind 1,000 times visually. Successful CEOs, celebrities, Kobe Bryant, he plays that game in his head 1,000 times before he took the court that last game he played and scored so many points, right? So visualization is a guaranteed proven. It absolutely works, right? The way that The Secret described it helped a lot. So I tattooed the goal. I made a vision board. I wrote a letter as if I achieved it. And that letter was my power up. Like, even though I'd look at my bank account and it was like, how am I going to pay my bills? but I would read a letter, and in the letter I wrote it like, "Hey, what's going on, brother? Here it is, December 2012, right after right after you turn 30, and the feeling of selling this business is so incredible, and I'm so proud of you." And I wrote the letter as if I achieved it. So every single day, I was just reprogramming my own mind to think that it was possible, that I could do it. Now, here's the thing: I set that goal, right? 25K in debt, just failed at a business. I had no clue what I was going to do. I wrote the letter, did the vision board, got the tattoo. What happens next? What happens next? I find internet marketing. I had never been a part of internet marketing before in my life. I find this whole new channel. I find, this new mentor. I start investing on credit cards because I knew that this was my ticket. So I get involved in Facebook marketing, Facebook advertising. I start buying courses. I credit carded 25 grand of content. Here's what happened. All that content that I credit carded, I didn't apply it. So nothing happened. So for the first 90 days, I just got pummeled further into debt, and I didn't do anything. Then I ended up, spending 5 grand, and I get this mentor, this guy named Eben Pagan. He's a master NLP practitioner, which is neuro-linguistic programming. He's a brilliant marketer. His psychology and his brain, he's so incredible. I credit carded $2,500 and I borrowed $2,500 to get to his event, because I needed some kind of kick in the butt, because it's like, all right, I got the vision board. It's like, I got the letter, I got a tattoo. I now found my interest, my passion with online marketing. But it's like, why the heck is nothing actually happening? And it's because I looked really busy, but I wasn't actually taking action, right? I was learning and I was studying and I was doing stuff, and I looked like the busiest guy you've ever seen, but I wasn't actually doing the things necessary to make any money, right? Remember the slides before when I said, I know what I need to do, or you know what you need to do, but can you get yourself to do it, right? I knew that buying the courses wasn't going to make me rich. I had to do the work. And I felt like I was doing the work, but if I got honest, I wasn't really doing the freaking work. So I go to this mastermind. I was so broke, I had to eat protein mix. This is a picture of a hotel cup, and I would bring protein mix with me in a sandwich bag. So people would go do lunch. They all spent 5 grand to be there. And I'd say, oh, hey guys, got to make a call, run to the room, make a shake in the sink, and then come back downstairs to the event, because I couldn't afford lunch. Right? That was my lunch, what you're looking at. It was nasty. That's how broke I was. So anyone that's like, Nick, you don't understand, I'm broke. It's like, dude, I was broke. I mean, bad. I don't know anyone that there's some scenarios where it's near-death experiences and stuff, but financially I was in trouble. So my defining moment was I had to cover over $3,500 in bills. I had to make a decision, choose a niche. I ended up deciding to get into coaching and becoming a Facebook marketing expert. From that, everything shifted because I made that decision. I got into action. First 30 days, I just went out and got local clients, right? Nothing else mattered. It wasn't a webinar. It wasn't a course. It's I just had to go out and physically be in front of people face to face. I did that locally just to get clients. And then I started doing it on webinars, and I started speaking. Within 6 months, I just all of a sudden, it went from being really hard to all of a sudden it was the floodgates open. It was the Hoover Dam just popped a hole, and then the whole thing crashed open. You know what I mean? It was it just got into things just started to change and happen. And what's so amazing, and why I'm sharing this like this, and again, it doesn't matter. You're not here. You're not here to hear my story, right? But what I'm describing is that when you first believe and expect and know that it's possible, and you cast that vision, and you believe it, and you write that letter to yourself, and then you get into that massive action, that's the sweet spot, because the action creates progress, and that progress builds into momentum. And when you're in momentum, oh man, your competitors better get out of the way. It is unbelievable when you're in momentum, because it becomes exciting. I was 50 grand in debt, and everything was broken. Nothing would work. And I was and it was an awful experience, but all of a sudden I'm making money, and it was I'm paying off credit cards, and I'm getting more clients. And it was it was fun, right? That's what I wish for you is, and it's the action that gets you there. And so moving forward, David and John from Shark Tank, if you've ever seen Shark Tank, give me a quick yes. So if you know Damon John from Shark Tank, not personally, but seen him on TV, I've consulted Damon, and his team just designed our new Life on Fire apparel. We've worked with Commander Mark Devine from Navy SEALs. I consulted that guy. Like, what? It's crazy. Spartan Race. So all this, like this right now, this is what I call the social proof slide, right? Here's me sharing my own credibility. But I want you to think about this. Like, what's your journey, right? You saw and you looked at the screen, and there was Nick in the bottom of the bottom and got out of it. And here's the upswing. Here's the momentum. What's your story? And if you're in the bottom, what's going to be your up? You've got to define that up. If you're in the up, what's going to be even further ups, right? So, and all of this, again, comes back to that you're literally capable of 20 times more than you think, and you can literally do anything you put your mind to. And my life is a living, breathing example of it, because I've never had any actual tangible skills in my life. I've just been the dude that's just taken action. And that's what I do, is I just take action. So within 2 years, the tattoo comes true. Right? The goal comes true. My largest client says, Nick, we need more and more and more and more and more of your time. And I say, sorry, guys, I can't. It's becoming too much. I've got too much other stuff going on. And I said, sorry. They said, well, how about we just buy your business? We need more of you. And of course, that thing closed right before I turned 30, right before December 22nd, 2012, just like that tattoo said. And that happened because I expected it to happen. Look at your life. Are you expecting the results, or are you just subtly casting it out there and hoping you're going to be an entrepreneur and become successful? If you want it and you have that vision and you want to be that crazy success story, the Will Smith story, the Nick Unsworth story, the Brett story, it's like you have to not only set the vision, but you've got to expect it, and then you've got to use some of these strategies to go out and get it. And so I'm going to share more strategies. This is really, I would call this here's what's possible and the inspiration, and then we'll get into some of the specific life hacks I've been talking about too. So then I started Life on Fire and realized that, man, my passion in life and what my purpose in life is, it's actually helping other people find your purpose and helping you live at your, helping you be the best version of you so that you can go out and get those dreams. Because no matter what the Facebook ad strategy is, no matter what the webinar or the ClickFunnels or whatever it may be, all these things are necessary. And that's why you need Brett. You have to have Brett on your journey, because you need the ads and the traffic. You eventually want to go from learning from Brett to hiring Brett, right? That's a progression. We all need to have that. But it's like we all have to have the mindset and have the expectation that we're going to achieve that level of greatness. And so that's what our mission is with Life on Fire. So even that, sold the company, was able to, then what happened to me was, just real quick, this will make sense. It's worth sharing, is sold the business, right? I achieved this big goal, this big dream that I had in my life. And then I like achieved this big, huge thing. It was like awesome, right? Yay, Nick. But it was very bittersweet, because I went from living in a dump to living in a beautiful place right on the water in San Diego. I achieved all the material things I had ever dreamed of. The house on the water, the nice stuff. But the thing that I forgot to put on my vision board, I forgot to put love on there. I forgot to put that part of life. Life is not just making money. Life is about is having a deep passion and loving relationship. You know what I mean? Having family time. And I forgot to put that on the vision board. So here I am, sold the business, and I was like, man, I just wish I had someone to share this with. And I actually didn't even care about the money. And it was like, I would rather have had love than just have the money, right? So what did I do? I ended up hiring a coach, and I ended up hiring a matchmaker. Long story short, the matchmaker never worked. But what did work is I shifted my mindset. I had limiting beliefs related to relationships. I had to do a lot of work internally, personally, to then be the guy that could attract someone like my beautiful wife, Megan. And what's interesting and why I share this is because I invested in myself, and I was at a personal development event, and I reframed some of these thoughts about relationships and all the stuff I had going on in my head. And I expected I was going to meet Megan, right? I wrote a letter of dark hair, green eyes, someone that had a background in fitness and in health and would help me stretch my faith. I expected all that. I stood on that person's stage, this guy, Michael Burnoff stage, in front of 400 people. I said, the next time you see me, I'll be engaged. Everyone's coming up to me. They're like, hey, so how long have you been dating your girlfriend? I was like, I don't have a girlfriend. They're like, well, you were just saying you're going to be engaged. And I was like, yeah, I just wrote a letter to myself saying that I was going to be engaged, and that's what I'm going to do. And I expected it. And within 6 months of that event, I had, within 4 months of the event, I met Megan, and then within 6 months we were engaged, and I hit that goal. And the whole thing is, again, goal, letter, done, expected it. And so it can be done in every area of your life. And it's like, if it works in business and it works in relationships, it's like, why not do this all the time? Right? Like, how cool is that? You can just get what you want. So that's key. So everything changed because of two things. Number one is investing in myself and taking action on the things I invested in. All the investments are no good if you don't take action. And number two is personal growth. Because just like I was saying, if you know what you need to do, but you can't get yourself to do it, then what good is it? Right? Just like weight loss, just like making money. So the next handful of slides is going to speak directly to some of these things that I'm going to give you some specific, very tangible things that you can do in your life that will help you create more progress, will help you get into momentum, and help you create new habits. Because when you shift your mindset and you create new habits, I guarantee you the next time I'm on a call with you guys, if Brett has me back on, let's say in 6 months, everything will be different. And it will be different because you've created a new habit and new skill sets. So that's what I'm going to dive into. So I want you to picture yourself getting some of these results. Just literally see yourself in this. We're going to start that process now. Just picture yourself as one of them. Maybe you're already one of them, but you want to see the end in mind. You want to see and visualize that in mind. So Ryan Walsh and Dr. Katie, so they work literally 20 hours per week. I'm so proud that they literally stick to just 20 hours per week and make over 10 grand per month. That's their life on fire. They could make more, but then they'd work more. So they're smart, and they understand that for them as life coaches, they can have a great lifestyle. She's a doctor in psychology. They became life coaches, and her passion is that she saw a lot of just old techniques and with her psychology degree and psychiatry, and she just found new, more innovative ways to do it, went off on her own, became a life coach, and hey, they can make a great, honest living and have a phenomenal lifestyle. Like, wouldn't that be cool? Like, lifestyle is more important than the money oftentimes. So Ben Shaib left this high-paying job. He was making multiple six figures a year. Now he's making over 500 grand a year coaching with me. And that is a combination of absolutely mindset and also just excellent marketing, things like what Brett covers. So Becky and Jesse, within 6 months, they started making over 10K per month. They've reduced their hours worked and they're working smarter. It starts upstairs in our head. Becky and Jesse, check this out. We taught them about mindset, right? Then we taught them about Facebook ads and then about webinars and how to get more customers. So they ran Facebook ads to a webinar. That webinar led people to the telephone where then they did these strategy sessions. And then the goal was you do your strategy sessions, and then the goal was to sell the person on signing up for coaching with them because they are photography coaches about how to grow a photography business. Now, they did that, right? They followed instructions. They hired me, they followed instructions, they went through our webinar course, they went through our Facebook stuff, and they did just like what Brett teaches. They ran Facebook ads, they got leads, those leads went into a webinar, then people signed up on their calendar for a phone call, then they hopped on the phone, and check this out. They did 50, literally 50 strategy sessions, and type in the chat box how many sales you think that they made. They did 50 strategy sessions. How many sales and clients do you think that they brought on? And just pop them in the chat box. I know we got a little delay, but it's all good. 50 strategy sessions to make how many clients? And what's so interesting about this is that in their minds, this would have made or break them, right? What I'm about to reveal and share is that this literally had the ability to radically change their life for good or radically change their life for worse, right? So 50 strategy sessions, and Jay says 15. So they made 15 sales. 15 sales is actually, you're right, Jay, that's what they should have done. They should have made 15 sales. But in reality, they made 0. They did all the ads, all to the webinar. They nailed the webinar, they nailed the ads. I work with them for, hard. We worked real hard on both those things. And then they did 50 strategy sessions, which was over 50 hours, and made no sales, right? So what would have happened is most people would have said, this doesn't work. And Nick, I don't want to pay you anymore. And I'm going to do something else, right? They had a moment where they had to dig deep on the vision that we set together. They had to read their letter. They had to look at their vision board, and they had to dig deep together as a family and say, we got this. And all of a sudden, I will literally never forget this moment when I talked to Becky and she's like, yeah, we just turned our shit around and here we go. We are expecting to do this. Nick, we didn't hire you to just be average. We're expecting it. And you know what happened is I then, helped them critique some of those calls, and now they convert 30%, literally 30% of those calls. And now they can turn their ads on, and they can make, thousands of dollars, and they can turn them off. So they have maxed out their one-on-one coaching program. So that's over 10 grand a month. And they're maxed out with the most amount of people that they want to work with at that level. Now they're cranking a group program, and they've also launched a product. So they're now almost past 20 grand a month, and they haven't sacrificed their time. But all of that, again, comes back to just mindset, productivity, and belief and expectation. So that's cool. So I want you to imagine right now, I want you to feel and to think and visualize that you have the clarity of knowing first what you want. Knowing that whatever it is that you want right now, like literally if you just close your eyes and you're just thinking about it and just saying, all right, well, what is that? What's my heart really desire? What do I really want with my life? And instead of overwhelmed thinking about all the things you have to do to get it, like literally you've just got peace and focus, knowing that it's all good. You can totally do it. Like it's there for the taking, and that you already know how to motivate yourself to take action. You're twice as productive. You're making more money. You've got more confidence. You're getting so much done. You have more time freedom. Everyone's coming up to you and saying, what are you doing differently? Looks like everything is just crushing with work, and looks, your life. And I want you to imagine that all of that is absolutely, it's not just possible, that it is. And you will and absolutely be that person just by taking action on the 7 things I'm about to share with you. So just know that that lifestyle is there for the taking, and you can do it. And the 7 things I'm going to share is going to help you get there. And these are the 7 life hacks. These are, and if you've noticed, I've been teaching since I started moving my mouth in the very beginning. And the way that I teach is through stories. So type in yes if I have your attention right now. And you could type in no if I don't. But if I have your attention, just type in yes. And I want to share a point. So yes, if I do have your attention, no if I don't. And part of what I'm getting at is that when you're teaching anything, or when you're communicating with people, here's the thing, is it's actually about attention, right? So if you're communicating to me or to a loved one, it's we're vying for everyone's attention. Now, what's interesting is in this moment, I'm vying for your attention, in that if I just teach, here's the specific 7 things, and it's just tangible stuff and it's not inspirational, people are inclined to tune out and to do other things. So what has to happen is when you're teaching and when you're communicating, when you can do that via stories, everything changes, because we are, as humans, stories are part of, like, it's almost like they're part of our DNA. Like, think back to cavemen and how stories were told, and stories around a campfire. And it's like, so we're inclined to pay more attention to stories. And if you were to go back and listen to this again, the second time around, you'll actually catch and you'll notice all the different things I've been weaving into my stories, which has actually been teaching you. So there's a lot more that you're learning than you may even realize, which is cool. But sometimes that will affect you later. So anyway, what we're going to now dive into is the 7 specific and very tangible things that you can do to double your productivity. And again, this isn't even about just your productivity. It's about getting what you want out of life, which is most important. So before I dive in, I want you to think about the last time you went on vacation. Real quick, type in the chat box, where'd you go? And in your mind, paint that picture. Boom. What pops up? Remember the last time you went on vacation. All right. Now what I want you to do is I want you to think about what happened before you went on vacation. How much did you get done before you actually went on vacation? And how freaking good did it feel? So think about that for a second. You went on vacation, and before you went, you got so much done so that what could happen? You got so much done so that you could give yourself that 7 to 10 or 14 days of complete rest and relaxation, right? And so what's amazing is that it's almost proof, right? So even just consciously or logically right now, you could say, you know what? Yeah, and I think I agree with him, right? That just thinking about when you went on vacation last, it pretty much proves the point that we're capable of at least 10 times more than we think we are, right? Because before you go on vacation, it's like you're Superman or Superwoman, right? You get so much more done. And the reason is because you've got a vision, you've got that vacation, so you've got a vision, you've got a why, you want to be relaxed, you want to be present with your family. So you have all these things going for you, and you do it. And you don't make excuses, and you don't complain. And you just work so efficiently that it's freaking incredible. And imagine if your life was like that, right? Imagine if your weekends were like little vacations, because Monday through Friday or Monday through Thursday, you're in such a state of mind that you got so much done that you could just unplug and feel like $1 million and feel so good about it. So that's the outcome that I'm talking about. That's exactly what these 7 steps will help you do. Now, you'll notice that these 7 steps, these are tangible. These are like the specific strategies. Everything I've been teaching and talking about is actually mindset, and that is most important. These 7 tips here, these are the things that you would implement and do, but it's really, some of the, what I have already been teaching is what's most important. So number 7 is conquering your email. So if you've ever checked your email in the morning, right, in bed, it's like instantly your day goes into a tailspin. Instantly, it's like, oh, I've got all these things I need to do. I've got so much work I need to do. I'm already overwhelmed, and it's just instant reaction mode as opposed to starting your day the right way. If you can start your day with no email, no phone, and get out of bed, do your thing, meditate, pray, have a healthy shake, listen to good music, and own that morning, it will change every part of your day, right? So, so conquering your email, don't check that baby in the morning. Don't check that thing at night before you go to bed. If you've got some of that on your brain before you go to bed, it's gonna affect your dreams, your subconscious. So here's the thing. If you can be so disciplined, or when you are so disciplined, to check your email only twice per day, imagine what will happen. I now live my life within a message where I have no need to check my email. I do. I need to communicate with some people, but I have a permanent away message. It says I have limited access to email. If you need anything, here's a support person, or support team to reach out to, because email sucks the life out of you, right? Email, it's all these things, it's all these tasks, it's all this stuff that has to get done, but you can actually live without it. There's entrepreneurs that have proven. I actually stopped using email because I was hired by the people from Life is Good. They don't use email. They still live, right? So the first baby step on that is put an away message that says that you're only checking your email twice per day. And I assure you, your life will change so dramatically just from this one thing, because we have a tendency to check the email all day. Especially if notifications, right? So your away message says something like this. Your subject line would just say, checking email twice per day. And then it's like, hey, just in the spirit of giving 110% of my energy and focus to my clients, and giving them my best, I'm only checking email twice per day. So if you need anything, I'll be getting to you at 2 different times, 2 intervals. 10 in the morning or 4 in the afternoon. Look forward to catching up with you then. Because there's nothing in your day, there's nothing in a realtor's day or an online marketer's day that we have to do in that instant. And if you think that you have to do everything in that instant, then that's already just a limiting belief that you already have, right? Versus that anything can wait a few hours, right? And it's actually a false belief if you think that you're going to give better service to your client by getting back to them in minutes. Now, for a customer support team, sure, that's a business, that's a that's a different thing, right? But I used to think when I was a realtor back in the day, I used to pick up the phone at 11 at night. I used to respond to emails at midnight thinking I was being a hero. You know what it did? They lost respect for me. Then if they emailed me at 3 in the morning and I didn't get back to them within 10 minutes, they'd be like annoyed, right? So thing is, away message twice per day, and you just wait and see what happens to your everything should be going good with the video. Hopefully it's still going good. I have a couple people mention about that. So, okay. So email, that's number 7. Let's jump to number 6, batching. So batching is Parkinson's law. So what Parkinson's law means is that the amount of time that you give a task is the amount of time it's going to take. So for example, this presentation, if I gave myself, 35 minutes to make this presentation, I could get it done in 35 minutes. If I gave myself 6 hours, guess how long it would take? It would take 6 hours, right? It's like if you give yourself 2 weeks to get a task done, it's going to take 2 weeks. So what Parkinson's law says, the time it takes you to get something done expands or contracts based on how much time you allow it to get done. So for this particular presentation, I took this presentation and I stitched it together from other presentations. And yes, I did it within 35 minutes. I purposely did that because if I blocked off 2 hours yesterday, it would have taken me 2 hours. I put myself under the gun, under some pressure. I came back from a speaking engagement. I got to my computer and I shut the door and it was like, all right, it's on. I got 35 minutes. Let's go. So that's cool. So you can start small, but like push yourself with that. If you know that that's to be true, don't give yourself a week to make a presentation. Give yourself realistic, however long you think it's going to take, right? So it allows yourself to get things done and to be superhuman faster. And what batching means is when you do tasks, you want to block them next to each other. So there's no coincidence that I had a speaking engagement this morning, right? And then I have this call with Brett. That's purposeful, right? I line up my day so that I'm using the right side of my brain on right side brain days. I'm using the left side. If I need to write copy, well, shoot, that's going to be on a Thursday because I have no calls scheduled. I have no distractions. Everyone on my team knows not to reach out to Nick. He's just using the other part of his brain, which is to focus and write, So you just want to batch your tasks together. So another great example of a good friend of mine, John Lee Dumas, he's one of the top podcasters. And so he has a daily podcast. So he interviews new entrepreneurs every single day. So you know what he does? On Tuesdays, the guy does like 12 podcast recordings every Tuesday. Boom. Because he's doing it back to back to back to back. So he gets in the zone, he gets in flow. And it's really, really good when you're in that flow. So you want to batch your tasks together. When you're doing sales calls, don't do like 3 sales calls and then write your website copy. It's like you want to do them together, right? So you get in the zone, you get in flow, and then you get extra Hulk-like abilities. Number 5, making faster decisions. So as far as making faster decisions, this is something that I don't know why it took me, having this one particular coach to get this, but this is a big one. It's like, do you realize that when why are decisions slow? Right. And you ever notice that like some people that just can't make a decision, right? Do they seem more confident or less confident when they just can't make a decision? That's one thing that I had to learn is, when I was dating Megan, I had to be the guy. I had to be a confident guy. In business, I'm confident, but in relationships, I was a little peanut, a little wuss. It was like, where do you want to go to dinner? And I was like, I don't know, where do you want to go to dinner? I was all about serving her. Right. And I had to break that before I met her. I had to be the guy like, oh, we're going to Beaumont's because they have the best music and they've got the best sea bass. You know what I mean? Like I had to learn that. And so the thing with decisions is that you are actually in control. And isn't that ironic that with decisions, check this out. With decisions, the reason we're slow to make a decision, it's because of fear. We're slow to make a decision because we don't want to make the what? We don't want to make the wrong decision. And it is so interesting that that's actually based out of fear. And so what's so fascinating is that when you're making decisions, you actually have the power to make your decision right. So if you can make every single decision right, then why take so long to make them? Then where's the fear, right? When I made a decision to put a goal on my chest to sell a business in 2 years, it was my choice. It was my determination to make that decision right. When I made the decision to say I was going to get engaged on that stage and I was going to be in love the next time that they saw me, it was my choice to let my actions follow up and to make that right. So you actually have all the power within you to make decisions and make it right. So the next time, and I want you to just have awareness. So personal development, it all starts with awareness. So when you're aware of your thoughts, that's when you start to realize that there's a problem or that there's change to be made. So the next time you're making a decision, I want you to hear my voice saying, make the decision, then make it right. I mean, like literally, like just be like, oh crap, like Nick's in my head. But next time you have a decision and you catch yourself waffling and going back and forth, just say, cut through that and be like, just go on your impulse, go on your gut. Your gut is strong. It's powerful. That's your intuition. It's like, if you've ever heard a situation where, my wife, Megan, this used to happen to her in high school and college, that she would take a test and get the answer correct. And then she would cross it, she would erase it in pencil and then change the answer. And she'd get like a C or a D. And the teachers were always saying, like, Megan, I can see where you've scribbled out the answer. If you just trusted your intuition, you would have had an A. So think about that. Go with your gut, go with your instincts, and then make a decision, and then you have the power to make it right. So if that sounds good, give me a yes, and let's rock and roll. All right. Perfect. Thank you. So, all right. So make a decision, make it right. Another quick example, challenge. If you're at a restaurant, if you're one of those kinds of people that takes, I used to take like a day and a half with a menu, just look at it, be like, boom, I'm getting the ribeye, medium, mashed potatoes, and a Caesar salad. Fold that thing up. Like, just be a boss with it. Start practicing making faster decisions. Number 4, disabling notifications. This is going to just energetically give you so much, just not only control of your time, but like social media and computer alerts and like text messages, all these things. It's like we only have so much willpower in our life, in our time, in our day. And all these things are just like energy leaks. They're like holes in a bucket, just like water draining out of the sides. You know what I mean? There's so many different energy leaks. And what happens is that they're all just nipping at you for time. And so if you just literally today, again, challenge you today. And if you're down for this, type in the chat box, I'm down. If you're down for this, if you're going to commit to it, to disable your notifications, trust me, it will blow your mind, right? And I'm saying notifications on Facebook, notifications on Insta, Snapchat, your alerts. Like, I saw someone the other day, a friend, they had computer alerts. So every time they got an email, this thing like popped up as a notification on their computer screen. And I was like, how could you ever get anything done? Like, you're getting a subject line on your desktop every day. Like, that's crazy. And even like text messages, right? So I know this is going to sound wild, but I want you to disable notifications on your text messages. I want you to be able to look at your phone and there's none of those little numbers that say like, 5 or 15 or 300 that are things that you need to look at, right, and do. Instead, I want you to actually check your texts and check your email when you want to check them, not when someone else wants to interrupt you. You check them on your time, not on their time. That will gain control back of your time. You'll be a master of your time. And I assure you, your energy, confident, things will shift and change more than you could ever imagine. But you've got to purge yourself. Just disable all of them. And yeah, when you want to check your texts, you just open up you just go to your text and hit the button, right? But you don't need the notifications there. So what happens is, my friends and my loved ones, friends, they know Nick's a boss. Like, Nick's gonna check his texts when he chooses to check them, and I check them. My texts I check like 4 times a day. Email, I mean, I'm down to like 1 time a day, 2 times. But think of it in that way where you're not missing out. It's just the fear of missing out. Some people call that FOMO, but check them on your terms. And we got a lot of people saying that you're down. And here's the thing that's crazy. I want you to actually come back, find me on social media, just Nick Unsworth, and message me or something, be like, holy crap, I did it, or send in a testimonial or something, because I literally, this will change so much of your life. And then when you do it, just make it a habit and just stay with it. You know what I mean? Don't be a quitter. It's like, we all know how to lose weight, but part of that equation is quitting is not in that equation, So number 3, eat the frog. So what does eat the frog mean? Eat the frog means do hard things first. Picture a juicy slippery frog and picture eating it. I know it's a little bit gross, but I'm going to have you do that. But a frog is not appetizing, right? You'd much rather have like a breakfast burrito or something. But anyway, picture eating the frog. And here's the thing: you get the hard things done first, and then what'll happen is everything will shift. So focus on completion. I like to call that FOCking. We all need to FOC more, FOC, focus on completion. And then what'll happen is when you complete hard things first, that's when you have the most amount of willpower, discipline, and energy. Then everything else will be a breeze. So you're committing to the hard things first. Number 2, and I'm almost done. Wrapping up right now. So number 2 is calendar everything. Schedule your work and schedule your play. So when you calendar things like what you're going to batch on those particular days, you actually want to make sure that you're calendaring in your free time. And when you live by that schedule and you adhere to it, you're able to give yourself boundaries. It's very nice that I get to start work at 9:30 in the morning. I get to have this amazing morning, and I get to, go to the gym and do cool things. And then I start the day, I'm like fired up, and I get to end that day at 5 and be done. And it's just like going on vacation. When you schedule things, and then as an entrepreneur, we don't have bosses. We don't have people saying like, got to get out of the office, like, or you know what I mean? It's like you don't have work hours or office hours. Most entrepreneurs, they work 24/7. They're never off. So give yourself those boundaries so that you can stop. And then it's just like a vacation where if you're only allowing yourself to work to 5, well, dang it, you better get it done before 5, right? And if you don't do that, I assure you, this is what, so remember Nick had 11 business failures for most of his life. It's because I worked all day and all night. I had no boundaries. I didn't do any of the stuff that I'm talking about here. I looked busy and I was broke. This is the stuff that will help you get efficient and get in the zone. And you'll figure out the Facebook tool, right? If you do this stuff, you'll figure out the webinar if you do this stuff. So number 1 is actually take more free time, which is insane. It took me so many years to figure this out. I was told this by that mentor, Eben Pagan, in 2010. You have to take more free time and you're actually going to get more done. I literally just didn't believe him until I started Life on Fire, and I did a week, a month off. I worked 1 week less than everyone else in a month. And I was still kicking butt, grew this thing to a 7-figure big business in 12 months, right? And that was with a week, a month off, right? So take more free time, because when you have more free time, then the thing is that you're going to treat it like a vacation, right? You're going to get more done in less time. And when your body is refreshed and renewed, it's crazy how more productive you are, the ideas that you get, the people you will attract, the confidence you'll have, the sleep that you'll have, everything shifts. Because if you're going to be an entrepreneur and you're going to go at everything at 60% speed because you're so burned out, you could actually work less, work half the time at 100% speed, be more efficient, but then you have a life. You have a life too, right? We're not doing all this just for money. We're doing this so that we can enjoy hobbies. We can enjoy, being in love. We can enjoy having a family and having a baby or whatever it may be. So a life on fire is not money. A life on fire is abundance. And yes, you want to have that wealth, but it's also, you want to have the time freedom to enjoy it. That, my friends, is a life on fire. That is exactly what I wish for you. I'm excited for you. You're hanging on Brett, which means you're in the right place at the right time. If you are excited and fired up about what you learned, then don't, then don't, be a stranger, right? Here's the thing. It's the 3-day motivation challenge, just 3daymotivationchallenge.com. Opt in right now. Shoot. If this has fired you up or motivated you, then head to right now, 3daymotivationchallenge.com. They're short videos. So they're 3 on camera, just cool, interactive, short videos about, it's a technique that I teach at my big 3-day events. It will change how you think, and it's so good, and it's such a awesome gift. I spent like literally it was $5,000 to go to an event where I learned that one technique, and it's a power up. Like, you literally in 10 seconds, you can go from being lethargic and depressed to feeling good. It's such a tangible power up that you will physically feel different. So it's really cool. So 3daymotivationchallenge.com. Let's hang out on social media. Just find me as Nick Unsworth, just UNSWRTH, and let's stay in touch. And so cool. So that wraps it up for now. I'm not sure if Brett or his team have anything to close with. Otherwise, I'll just wrap it up. But if you guys dug this, definitely appreciate you taking the action on it. And I can get these slides and a replay to Brett, and Brett can get it to you guys, but put them into action. And this is like a test. I want you to literally send the results. And it's so cool to see what happens. So let's freaking crush it and live our lives on fire, because that's what we're here on this earth to do, right? We're not here to just be average or settle. We're here to live them on freaking fire and have an amazing, 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 did I say amazing? Rest of your day. All right. See you guys. Cheers.